Hey, you, and welcome back to the podcast. My apologies to everyone who just heard that on whatever speaker that you're listening on. If you guys are new to the podcast, please make sure that you get podclass. Oh my god. If you guys are new to the podcast, please make sure that you guys do subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to it, whether it be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, wherever it may be. Please make sure that you guys subscribe to it. Leave us a review. It actually really helps the podcast a lot, and it also helps people to find the podcast. So leaving a review actually does help out a lot. All right, guys. So this is see, it's hard for me to say this. This is the last episode of the Hey You podcast for the year. This is also our conclusion of season 3 of the podcast. It has been a really good ride with this podcast. I'm actually very proud of everything that we've accomplished in this podcast. But it is sad that the season's ending. However, do not fret because the podcast is not going anywhere. We are still staying as a podcast. We will be back for season 4, which I think it's shocking that I have 4 seasons of this podcast. I mean, like, granted, I'm saying this. I have not had this podcast for 4 years. I see when people made different seasons of podcasts, I didn't know that that meant like a year is supposed to be a season. I had no idea that was a thing. So when I was like, I made this podcast, I think a year ago, like in like January. Let me look. Yeah, I wrote it down on January 14th, 2019. The very first episode of the On Stage podcast aired. And that is crazy to say right now. But like that was also like a big roller coaster ride. Oh man, wait, no, it's been 2 years. It's 2020 now. It's supposed to be 2021. It's been 2 years. Oh my god, it's been almost 2 years, which I know I just said that 5 times in a row, but yeah, that's a wild ride. We uploaded like episodes were definitely not consistent at all. It was like I'm gonna just give you guys the dates right now. Season 1 actually only had 5 episodes, and technically, I'm gonna call this technically 4 episodes because I made episodes 1 and 2 a combined episode, which I have no idea why I did that. Those are no longer active. However, I am actually going to remake them active right this second as you guys are watching it, just because fun memes, right? Fun memories. Wait, and I'm going to make sure that it publishes for January 14th, 2019. Confirm schedule. Okay, episodes 1 and 2 are out. Now let's get to episode 3. See, I didn't even come up with like fun names. It's just called On Stage episode 3. Like, come on, I couldn't be any more original. Like, really? All right, episode 3 is out. And now episode 4 is just called On Stage episode 4. This is also back before. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit of podcast history while I'm doing this. I used to want to like conceal my identity with this podcast. Like I didn't want people to know that it was me. You guys catching my drift? I didn't want people to know that this was me, just in case. Like I was like, oh, what if this implicates my future later? Because I said something on the podcast, but really it was, like something else. I didn't mean it. Like, what if something like that happened? I was so worried. So I like try to conceal it as much as I can. So for season 1, my stage this is my stage name. My stage name was One. My name was One. Hey One, like I'm sorry, but 2019 Zamba was very dumb. I'm being upfront. He was clearly very stupid because he thought like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, like, yeah, yeah. exactly. Like, yeah. Um, yeah. And there's actually, oh my God, I forgot about this. There was actually one episode of the Onstage podcast. It was supposed to be what? It was supposed to be episode 6. I'm sorry, no, this was the original season 2 premiere that I never uploaded because the audio quality was shot and I didn't think, at least at the time, I didn't think it was a good episode. So I never aired it. But who knows? Maybe that'll be like I was thinking maybe for like the 2-year mark on January 14th, maybe I'll upload it. That's all. It was supposed to be season 2 of On Stage, which, is no more. But who knows? Maybe we'll put that up. But then we launched season 2 of the podcast because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Oh, wait, sorry. There's 6 episodes to season 1, and now they are all active and public, so you can actually go out and see all the episodes. Definitely go binge it if you haven't already. I took them down pretty quickly once season 2 came out, so they were only out for like a year or so, but definitely go check it out. I didn't upload them with like fun titles or anything. It still says On Stage episode 4. Um, but season sorry episode 6 aired on August 28th 2019, and then we relaunched with season 2 of Still the Onstage podcast on May 21st 2020. Wow, that's something. I'm just making a note of that because I honestly had no idea I actually launched in May of 2020. And that had, I think, another 6 episodes. Oh, 7 episodes. Well, I'm gonna actually call it 6 episodes. I thought like, oh, I was just gonna do 6 episode seasons, and I would just have like, like it'd be like after like 2 years, I'd have like 14 seasons or something. But now I realize that's stupid, and now I'm gonna try to have the year-long seasons. This is also like, back when I wasn't as consistent, but actually for those uploads, they were pretty consistent, and then they stopped. Yeah, episode 7, and then we had our teaser stuff for Hey Upod, which is what we're on now, aka season 3 of my podcast. Um, which honestly I can probably call this season 1 if I wanted to. But yeah, technically it's season 3 of my podcast, which was teased and trailered on July 6th, 2020. And then we had the preview of the podcast released on July 13th, 2020. And the first episode officially premiering on July 20th, 2020. See, for those of you that don't remember the trailer or like the preview, those were the ones that didn't have any ads. In case anybody was curious, those were the ones that didn't have any ads, so that's why you were able to like flow through them really quickly. And like actually, like looking back, the views on that are not that bad. And then and then that's kind of when I stopped caring much about the podcast. I know I'm talking a lot about the podcast right now, and that's not like the central topic of this entire episode, but like it kind of is. I just had some water. My video viewer saw me. If you do want to see this podcast in a video format, go to my YouTube channel for the Hey You Pod. The link is in the description, and you can see me live in living color. Um, but yeah, we launched the podcast, and that's when I didn't. That's when I stopped feeling like I had to have like a certain like demeanor. Like originally when I first made the podcast, I was like, each episode has to be at least like 40 minutes, 45 to an hour recommended. Cause like I was like, oh, podcasts have to be long. Like they have to be so long. And then I started listening. That was all like when like first started listening to podcasts. Now that I listen to a lot more podcasts, I'm like, I listen to some podcasts that are like 15 minutes, and I'm like still like wanting to like go back every single week because I'm like, oh my god. So like I think I can chill, especially because most of my podcasts are around like the 35, 30 minute length. This today might be a little bit longer one. I have no idea because we just have a lot of stuff to cover. This is also the first podcast that I've actually planned in a long time. And like planned out and like made sure that like had things done. This is also the first podcast in a while that I actually remember to use a camera and not my my crappy computer webcam. So definitely go see the YouTube channel so you guys can see me. Hi. You go see how many times I touch my hair, how many times I move my hands, how many times I smile, how many times I go for a sip of water. Is that what ASMR is? Did I do a good job? Um, that was awkward. I'm sorry. But yeah, and then, I had Sasha back on for this episode. Did she I think she was on every single season. She was on for this season. She was on for season 1. I don't remember about season 2 actually. Maybe. Oh, yeah, no, she was on season 2. Yep. Uh Once a season, that's all I require. Maybe we'll do more, who knows. But then we kept the podcast going, which we've had. This will be the oh my god, this will be the 14th episode in season 3. So basically doubling what we had before. I'm hoping, that we can have an episode each week in 2021, sorry, and we can, keep it groovy, keep it cool. I'm like honestly very, very contemplate. I think I'm gonna see like this is like auto set to like the old art already that says like on that like has like the curtain and like the audience stage, and then it says on stage and like a script format, and then it says podcast, and they go another format, and then there's another font that says with your host, and then a big bold and red says one with your host one. um Yeah, and I think that episode has some of my friends in it too. I think I need to listen to it. Who knows? I'll keep you guys updated. If you guys want to know, I will let you guys know on my YouTube channel. Promo, gotta plug myself. Sorry, I've been talking about myself a lot. We will get into the episode in a bit, I promise. Um, but do please check out my YouTube channel. I will let you guys know. I'm supposed to actually release an episode, I mean, a video on my channel on the 13th. So maybe I'll announce then saying whether or not this, celebratory 2-year episode will come out, especially because we're not planning on coming back. Oh, like was going to say this in the beginning, but I didn't. But after today's episode, the Hey You podcast will not be back until February 1st. And we're going to be doing some rebranding. We're going to, make things great. I think I'm going to keep the Hey. Okay, so I started fiddling around with it. And like, those of you that are watching the video, you guys see me like typing on my computer and stuff. Because like, I'm pulling things up and I'm like saying things, right? Ooh, wait, I kind of like this. No, make that. Um, but like I started like playing around with what I want this art to look like. And like I think I know what I want. Like I have a rough idea. I'm not gonna say I have an idea yet. It's very rough still. I'm saying that very honestly. It is still a very rough idea. However, like I really like the idea that I have. And I mean, like, hey, who knows? We'll see. We'll see if it'll come to fruition. And whether or not if it'll actually be the case and be like the actual logo and such. But like, we gotta do them rebranding. So, um, hopefully you guys enjoy the rebranding of the podcast. And you guys will see what all that is in February. I'm honestly really excited for this because like rebranding has always been my favorite thing to do. Like once, especially after that crappy first season, I'm not gonna call it crappy. Okay, fine. I'm not gonna call it crappy because that's where we started from. That that onstage logo. It wasn't the best. I'm honest with that. What wasn't the best. But from that logo, I learned a lot about designing, and I learned a lot about what looks good and what doesn't look good. And I'm happy to say that I know more about what looks good versus what doesn't look good. Um, but like, we'll see. we'll see what this new art, we'll see what like all of this, looks like and turns into be. Am I currently working on said art right now because I had like a breakthrough idea? Yes. Am I like doing that and is it inconvenience you? It better not be. I hope it's not. If it is, I'm sorry. Um, but anyways, yeah, I'm actually really, really excited for the podcast. And I know like I just had like this really long spiel about like me being very, very excited for the podcast. But it's true, and I think I need to say it. That I am very excited for the future of this podcast and what it's gonna turn into, what it might be. And I'm excited to for you guys to be on the journey with me. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me in my endeavor of sitting down at my desk doing a podcast. Okay, now to get into today's today's podcast topic, but before I do want to give myself a little bit of promo. I have been working extensively on my my social presence, so definitely go check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ ThatSambaKid. I also have a vlog channel where I am finishing up Vlogmas. I'm doing it until December 31st. There actually might be a January 1st vlog also because I'm planning on uploading vlogs every Friday, but we will see what that case will be. Um, we I have been working very hard on that, and so by you guys checking it out, by you guys giving my channel a chance, by looking at it and all that stuff, it really means the world to me, especially because like I'm not like I hope you guys know with me doing all this, I don't get paid through YouTube. I don't I don't have the analytics, I don't have like ads and like all that stuff. So any support that you guys give by just subscribing, liking, and tuning into the content really means a lot, and really that's like all I can really ask for. I'm making the content because I like to make the content. It suits me. Not I'm saying oh, it suits me. It's so nice. Like it is like it generally is pretty relaxing for me, and it makes me like feel really like nice and in control, if that makes sense, of my life. All right. So for today's episode, I thought I would do a year in review, sort of kind of like just like kind of seeing like what went well in 2020 and what didn't, even though we had a lot of downs this year. What I'm doing so what I've done is I've made a list of stuff from every single month of my life, from of my oh my god, from every single month this year from January to December. Words. I wrote down lists of just like stuff that happened, how I felt, highs or lows. I like also went back to my pictures to see if like there were any like fun moments I want to shout out, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. So January, getting in, I worked on my first ever professional theater production, which was great. It was a production of Katori Hall's The Mountaintop. It was a wonderful piece. I was a projections designer. Uh, it was uh, it was great. It was a great experience. It was great fun, and it was a good accomplishment for me. It was a great year. Not a great year. It was a great month for friends and friendships and just like having great things. However, it was a bad year for yearbook. For those of you that don't know, I was on my high school yearbook staff as the business manager, which means I handled like the marketing and businessy side of things, but I also did stuff in the book and like managed some stuff from there also. And it was a bad year because bad. Oh my, I'm saying year, but month. It was a bad month. I mean, it was a bad year, but like bad. We're in January, so it's a bad month with yearbook. I had actually resigned from my position in November or December of that year, and my fellow editor friends were saying that I should come back because everything was not going well, and so came back as business. I went through the same hell as the reason why I quit. But a plus side to all that is that I actually did get back into photography a little bit more. I started like taking more pictures and like kind of doing some more things, and I felt more into it. Then that leads into February. February was a really bad month for friendships. My best friend and I stopped being friends with each other, and it was really hard because we would see each other in a class every day. My class had like block scheduling, so we would see each other every other day. because we had like a 2-day block schedule. I got to in February got to retry the act of directing and also teching productions and shows. One of our lower classmen drama classes does a little like performance night where they get to like write and like create and like produce their own shows, and for that I was kind of like directing, kind of like teaching them. And also I was the entire technical design. Well, I wasn't the designer, I was the technician for the shows, and I like programmed things and stuff, and it was fun. I was in full rehearsal for my last musical in high school. We were doing a production of Merrily We Roll Along. I forget who the composers are. It's slipping. I think it's what, Hart and Kaufman. No, that's not right. That's the OGs. Um, by people. And I also attempted to revamp my food account then. I was not successful. I will be trying to revamp it for 2021, make it maybe like get some new logos, get a new aesthetic, just like everything is going to turn revamp everything. So definitely go follow me. I'm at High Food Is My Mood. I'll leave a link in the description also. And I went to a trip to Capitol Hill, and I got closer with my drama friend group because we didn't really talk much then. But I got closer with them, especially because I had a falling out with my best friend. In March is when COVID hit. COVID hit on March 13th, which was also Friday the 13th, which was rough. On March 20th, they announced that school would be closed until after spring break. So for me, I was like, great, I have a nice extended long spring break. It was great. And then 3 days later, they announced that all in person school is canceled, which was a really tough time for me because I, of course, was crying, was having a breakdown because basically all of the fun parts of senior year got canceled. I had like I got to go through, college apps. I got to go through all this stuff, and like March is like when like the fun stuff like gets to start because like that's most of the time when like most of the scholarship applications are done. All of your college apps are mainly done, if not done already. Mine were. And so like it was time to like party and have fun. Like prom was in April, and then I had musical in May, and then graduation in June. Like there was like always like there was like stuff to look forward to, like back and back and back, and all of that got canceled. On March 24th, there was some more yearbook tea, which in a later day, I will definitely do a full hash episode, probably in like a couple years when like this is like less likely to harm. But there was just a lot of tea. And then March 25th was my birthday. So that was like tea plus bad news for school and all that stuff. It did not sit well. Um, March was also when I started back at this job with a small business I used to work with, and I started back up with them. In April, I committed to my college. I attend George Mason University, and I'm committed there and loving it. Um, so this I never like said on the podcast. I think we said this on the Sasha's birthday episode, but Sasha and I actually had a falling out, and we rekindled our friendship in April, and so I was friends with Sasha again. Um, Going back to the small business I was working for, we started a kind of like sub company, which like I spearheaded the online development for. More yearbook tea, of course. Yearbook tea is just going on until like what, like June or May when all that stuff happened. Um, April is also when I started online school, April 21st to be exact. It was an interesting experiment. During that time, I was also freelancing as a website designer, but also I wanted something to fill my time. So I wanted to go into nostalgia, and I was started playing some nostalgic computer games. Like I used to go on Neopets, any like OG, like 2000s kids, or maybe even 90s kids. Like you guys might know, you guys may know what it is. I use like some Disney Channel games, the ones that are like still active at least. I like play. Um, like there, like Club Penguin, playing like the rewritten one, Pop Tropica, all the things like just nostalgia. It was a great time for me to de-stress and get nostalgia. Um, in May was actually when I restarted doing YouTube. I revamped all of my editing. However, May was actually my worst month emotionally, and that's actually the reason why I started YouTube. I started YouTube in the middle of May because by the start of May, emotionally, I was doing it was hell. It was crap. It was really bad. And so restarted doing YouTube because I got to like put my energy somewhere and put my focus somewhere and not just worry about like, oh my god, my senior year's canceled. Oh my god, I should have been prom. Like, oh my god, it's just like I'm graduating in a month and now I'm just gonna cry. Like, it wasn't any of that. I wanted to put my energy somewhere else. So I started on the YouTube channel. Those videos that I like restarted and like revamped stuff, they weren't made public because it was just me trying to like hone my skills. They weren't like actual videos. Um, but it was just a chance for me to like try and revamp my editing, and we definitely did revamp the editing, and I think it looks nice now. Um, I was going through a lot of crap with the business I was working with. It was just not a fun time with me, and I think that also contributed to my emotional worstness. And it just wasn't good. May was also when we relaunched the On Stage podcast. We did season 2, and it was a fun time. It was really a fun time. Um, then in June, I quit my job for the small business I was working for. It was just so much crap that I was going through. And also, this is the next thing on the list, but I was actually doing two fast-paced college credit, two fast-paced 3 credit college classes. Um, that were like happening that were happening during June and July. And so I, was, going through that. And so quitting my job was a great thing to do. I graduated from high school. Woo woo. Also, I started to love YouTube, and then stuff started getting posted publicly. And, we started to get things out. July, I finished my classes, for the 2 college classes that I was taking. I also work at a theater company, and I actually got a promotion at the company, which was great, that I was happy to take. Me and 2 of my friends actually rekindled our friendship, and we started hanging out a lot more and being friends again. Um, yeah, and that was basically all of July. July, we just got to like, rekindle, have more fun, like try to like do like be fun and like do stuff that's fun before college. In August, we kind of fell out again. It wasn't like a big falling out. It was just like fading away. I started school. Technically, my school started on August 24th or 25th. So like technically it started in August, but like I'm gonna say it really started in September. Um, I was working at the theater company as a website and webmaster. So that launch actually occurred in August, the beginning of August. Um, yeah, and then that leads into September, where I consider the real school starting. I went back to the small business that I worked at, and I worked there for a month to consult, and it was a very bad experience. That again, in the distant future, whenever I feel like it's legal to do so, a big story time on that needs to come and will come at some point. I got off. In addition to the theater company, in addition to my website gig, they offered me to also do the social media stuff. So kind of like another promotion, kind of. Their current one was leaving, so they asked me. Um, I also in September quit the small business shop. I entered and quit in September. It was there for like a month or so. I also got casted in my very first college show, which was very exciting. I was in the Mason Players Originals, and it was a really great, fun experience. It was an all virtual event, but still, it was a really fun experience to like be a part of. And I also got into the theater student staff as an apprentice for marketing stuff. In October, the theater company was actually hosting some live socially distant events of like a concert series, which was really fun. I got to market that and also I got to work it. Um, October, to be honest, was kind of a blur. It just like went by. It was just like a thing. I think because I was just like working on social media campaigns plus school plus like going to like the shows. I think that's like it just all happened so quickly. October was also when I started my fitness journey and going to the gym regularly and like, doing and like, trying to like to take more accountability into myself and to my body. November was my next worst month mentally. I missed. It was a lot of like I guess when people get homesickness, I had like friend sickness. Like I missed my friends so much, and I missed interacting with people so much. Like I just like couldn't handle it anymore. Like everyone was out, and also I felt like I wasn't really talking to people much either, and so like it just wasn't a good time. YouTube production value increased significantly. Um, that's when I started experimenting more with Final Cut Pro and kind of getting more into like a fun editing style. Um, I also worked a lot on my water intake for um my healthy lifestyle, which isn't really healthy yet. Meantime, let me take a sip of water. Once again, I don't know if this is ASMR and if it's good or not. So my apologies. Um, but yeah, I have like a water jug, so I'm like trying to like help out my water intake. Um, and I also started prepping for my very first Vlogmas. I also started a vlog channel called Samba's Camera Roll in November. In December, I had my biggest YouTube rebrand yet. It was finally just my name, Samba Project, and not like a stage name. Like I don't know, for all these projects, I always avoided using my name, and now I look back and I'm like, why did I avoid using my name? Like that was so stupid. Like I could have started as this a long time ago, but I didn't. Like I went from Super SRP to that one kid Samba to that Samba kid, and like we're still that Samba kid in some ways. If you like look at my videos after my intro, there's like a glitch effect that like goes in. Um, it's like glitching, and then like you see my face in like my hey guys stuff, and that all still says that Samba kid because it's still something that kind of resonates with me. It's still kind of like a part of me. Um, but I went to high gear Christmas planning. I really, after this like crappy year, I really wanted like we don't celebrate Christmas like religiously or anything. We just the whole purpose of Christmas for us is to eat food and to just be with each other as a family. But I went into like high gear Christmas mode. Like I was going super extravagant this year, and looking at my financial statements, I definitely was very extravagant. Um, but it was all worth it. It was a really good Christmas, but I went to like high gear planning. I did my first Vlogmas kind of. I'm saying first Vlogmas kind of because of a couple reasons. Well, one, I definitely didn't do every single day. I did 1 through 8 well, and then I did 9, 10, and 11, and then maybe 12 late. Then I did 13, 14, 15 on time. 16, 17, my files got deleted, which is great. And I did 18, 19, 20. I skipped 21 and I let up to 25. I'm actually going to continue doing Vlogmas to the end of the year, except I didn't do 26, but I did do 27. And then 28 is the day where you guys are listening to this. So there are a couple misses in there, but considering that like how many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. I have 22 videos for Vlogmas out currently. Like to me, that's a really big accomplishment. I never thought I'd ever be able to do something like that. So the fact that I was is like it's very big for me. So hey, whatever. Um, December was honestly another blur. It was also like it was during the time with finals, And so the very first half was just finals, 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 and then Christmas, 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 Christmas. It was all kind of a blur. Like I could find myself struggling to find vlog content, which was sad. But I mean, hey, um, I was I started Orange Theory Fitness, and I actually had my best day last Sunday, where I burned nearly 900 calories, maybe more. I know, I think it was nearly 900 calories, and it was just my best day yet on everything. I felt healthy, I felt good. So that made me feel good about my fitness journey, and that like we were going well because I had been doing this consistently since October. So like it's been about 3 months of doing fitness stuff. And like being able to like actively like feel better has been really good for me, and I had a really much needed Christmas. It was a great day for me and my family to just get to know not get to know each other, but like to like get to like be with each other and get to like, just live life regularly, which is, all we can really ask for. Live life well, live life regularly, all the things. All right, and that's my recap. That's my year in review. I mean, I'm saying it today. I'm recording this the day before it goes out. Actually, it's past midnight now, so I'm actually recording this the day this is coming out. It's literally coming out in like 6 hours. Um, because I want to make sure that like whatever happens, it's in there, and like I know like it's not the end of December yet. Like we still have what like 4 more days to go, but I mean, hey, I'm trying. So that going into my New Year's resolutions, because I did want to cover that also. One thing that I'm doing and like trying out this year is instead of having a New Year's resolution, I'm having a something I'm calling a 6 months check-in. Or basically, I'll make these resolutions, I'll make these goals, but these goals are not going to be for the entire year. They're just going to be for 6 months. So for these 6 months, I am going to like figure out life, and then from there at the June, or halfway mark, I'm gonna have like a meetup with myself on my birthday in March, which is like a halfway point, and then well, I guess it's kind of in April, because it's like the end of March, but like sort of a little past the halfway point. I'm gonna give myself a check in there, be like, okay, are we on track? What do we need to fix? What do we need to get together? And then also in June, hopefully everything can be done, and then we can kind of fix things, or not fix things, but like what I mean, like figure out what the next steps are, for June to December, and then repeat the process. And then I probably have another check in with myself around Halloween, before the holidays kick in. So the first thing overall is just a healthy lifestyle, and in that, I am going to hop on the TikTok trend of this. Give yourself 6 months to just be your best self, do what you want, take it as a thing. And I think I might be more prone to that because it is like a limited thing. Yes, 6 months is a long time, but I think because there is like a deadline, I am more towards it, more for it. Um, Also includes getting on a decent diet plan. I don't like to diet. Dieting is not the right word, and diet plan is not the right word, but just eating cleaner, eating healthier. Because right now, how I'm eating, I eat a lot. I eat out a lot, and it's not good. So just kind of getting more intact with that. Drinking a lot more water is a really big thing, and that kind of goes hand in hand with me also decreasing my sweet tooth significantly. I have a really big sweet tooth, and most of the time that those are like what my cravings are, and that's why I kind of fall off the wagon because of my big sweet tooth. So to kind of control that and to kind of decrease the sweet tooth and like drink more water, eat more fruits, eat healthier, stuff like that. And then lastly, to like go into the healthy lifestyle thing is just to feel better. Like, I know that like sounds very cliche, but like I just really want to feel better. Like, I don't feel healthy inside. I feel like there are times where I just feel sicky, where I feel like I just want to like, the entire time. And so I just, I just want to feel better. Like, honestly, I want to maintain my 6 months check-in plan. In fact, I'm probably going to send a calendar invite to myself being like, okay, your resolutions are up. And then also for a check-in on my birthday. Next thing is to have a nice podcast revamp. I think I might want to get some new music. Definitely gonna have the new art and stuff and the whole like relaunch for February. But I'm worried that about me accidentally taking another sabbatical because I really don't want to do that. And I'm also worried about, maybe school getting in the way because of course school is more important. Even with, with Hey You, I took like in October, I didn't post anything, I don't think. And then I kind of restarted again in November. And I kind of want to avoid that for as much as I can. We'll see if that happens or not, and to have a nice full season. Please, if you guys have any ideas for the podcast, one thing I will say, it is really hard to come up with podcast ideas, especially because it's just me here. I don't really have a partner to bounce off of. Um, Please feel free to send me in your ideas, whether you comment them on the YouTube channel or leave me a voice message at 571-719-7658. You can leave me a voice message there of podcast ideas you guys want to see. You can also use that as a platform if you guys want to relate with me and talk with me. Highly, highly recommend. But yeah, I just want to have a nice, successful revamp. I've been looking at some design ideas. I've been going through a couple things. Um, but yeah, like it's just like kind of like seeing like what'll work. I want to gain a summer internship. I want to, hone my experience down somewhere. I want to make sure I can, get that off my feet and like get off the foot there too. I want to do better at YouTube thumbnails because right now my thumbnails suck. I acknowledge it. My thumbnails are not good. So I really want to get better at my thumbnails. So hopefully that can happen. Lastly, I want to work on my money and my budgeting. I've been sucking at using a budget. Like I have an expense tracker that I use. Not really. I haven't used it really. Uh, and looking at there, my budget is non-existent clearly, and my expending has increased exponentially throughout the couple of months. So definitely trying to hone down on that, saving more money rather than spending money, and to just get better with my money because clearly I ain't doing so well with my money. And like here's the thing, like the money that I get is not even like from like the podcast or like YouTube or anything. This is literally just like my money from like my job, or like money that I just already have, or like presents and such. So I need to just get better overall. Like that's the moral of the entire story. But yeah, so far those are my New Year's resolutions up until the June mark. Right now, it is really just high gear focus on the healthier lifestyle. But like that also actually also goes into sleeping at a decent hours, getting enough sleep at night, having a good like work schedule, following like a good routine. One thing I am gonna do with like my fitness and lifestyle journey is on my vlog channel, Samba's Camera Roll. I'm gonna kind of dedicate like like a segment or a video to my fitness journey every single week. So I don't know, I'm not sure yet whether if that means that I'm going to upload 2 videos a week on that channel, or if that means that on one of the vlogs I'll just have a segment where I just kind of go in about my fitness journey, just because I feel like that's going to hold me accountable a lot more to do it, because knowing that there are people there that are also like getting into the journey and that are paying attention, it like really helps me out also. I'm also going to do a monthly episode on this podcast talking about my fitness journey, just kind of recapping the stuff I've been doing, talking a little bit about results, but like not really dwelling on results because I don't think I should be, dwelling on them. But yeah, if you guys enjoy that, please let me know. If you guys ever feel like, no, I don't want this from you, you shouldn't do this, whatever, please let me know. And please let me know why also, whether it be to, call in or to leave a comment or whatever it may be. It really, really does kind of help me a lot and like helps me with my planning process. All right, guys, that is actually it for this episode. We went over all the things, and it's sad. I'm gonna really, really miss you guys. I'm gonna miss frantically thinking I forgot to upload an episode. Um, but yeah, definitely please rate, comment, click, share, subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you are listening to it on, whether it be on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or anything else, or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. Leave us a review on whatever your podcasting platform is. It really helps other people find the podcast. Also, like share the podcast. Like if you like the podcast, tell your friends, please. It really helps. There are some of you guys who are a stable listenership, and it has been great knowing that you guys are there. And I really hope that we can build our community, and we can have a Hey You fam. Um, as always, please make sure that you guys subscribe to my YouTube channels. I have three now that I have to manage. First one is my main channel, youtube.com/ThatSambaKid. It's where I post basically whatever I want. I do weekly uploads, or I try to do weekly uploads, no guarantees. Same thing with my vlog channel, Sama's Camera Roll. I try to do weekly uploads there as well. And then the channel for this podcast, which you should listen to the podcast and you should watch the podcast. Just saying. Definitely subscribe to that as well. Follow me on my social medias. I'm at Samba Batak. I will put links for that also in the description below. Yeah, I will see you guys in February. See, hear, whatever. You guys will hear me. Like, you guys know what I mean. Like, I need to figure out what the right terminology for that is. But yeah, I will catch up with you guys next time. See you guys in February. Bye.